First chapter is a introduction to data structures. Now what is a data? Data, it is a collection of numbers, alphabets and the symbols which are combined to represent the information. So consider the example of a student. So student have a name. So name, it is a collection of alphabets. Students have a roll numbers. So computer takes this data as an input, process on that data, and then it produces the output. So based on this data, there are the two types of data. First one is the atomic data and the second one is the composite data. Atomic data. So atomic data, it means what? It is a non-decomposable entity. It means what? That data, it cannot be separated. So for example, consider the value as a 523. So 523, it is a one complete number, so it cannot be separated. So that's why 523, it is a atomic data. Regarding the alphabets, suppose the your name Ashok. So ASHOK, Ashok, there is no any space in between those alphabets. So that's why ASHOK, it is a atomic data. Second type is a composite data. Composite data, it is a combination of several atomic data and it can be divided into the atomic data. It means what? Suppose there is a date of birth. In the date of birth, it considers what? Month, day, month and the year. So 15th March 1984. So 15, it is atomic data, or 15, it is a non-decomposable entity. So 15 represents the day of the month, 3 represents the month, so again 3 is the atomic data. 1984, which represents the year, so 1984 again it is a non-decomposable entity. So that's why the composite data, it is a combination of several atomic data. Now what is a data structure? So data structure, it is an agreed arrangement, so that becomes easy to store as well as to find out the desired items. The best example of a data structure is your shopping mall. In a shopping mall, all the items are stored in a and then it becomes easy to find out the desired items. Another example is online shopping websites. On those websites also, all the data, it is stored and then it becomes easy to find out the desired items. So actual data structure, it is nothing but a container who stores the data. So data structure, it is a scheme for organizing the data in the memory of a computer. Where we are going to store the data? We are storing all this data in the computer's memory. So to organize this data, after organizing this data, there is a need to write down the efficient program. And to write an efficient program, there is a need to select the proper data structure. Now the question arises in your mind, what is the need for the data structure? So data structure, it helps us to understand the relationship of one data element with the another data element. For example, you want to find out the addition of two numbers. So there are the two inputs are required, and on those two inputs you are performing the operation. Which operation you are going to be perform? Addition operation. So because of that addition operator, there is a relationship between one number and the second number. So another second need of data structure is, it helps us to analyze the data and store the data in a logical or in a mathematical manner. Mathematical manner means what? We are applying the mathematical formulas on those data. Again, same example we are considering. You want to find out the addition of those two numbers. So how you are finding the addition? By using the plus operator. So plus, it is the mathematical operator. Third need of data structure is, nowadays computing problems are complex and large. So there is a need to handle large amount of data, and this large amount of data, this problem is overcome by using the concept of a data structure. Now whenever we are using the concept of a data structure, there is a need to identify four things. Which are those four things we have to identify? The first one, find out the data elements. So according to your problem statement, firstly find out the data elements. Again, same example, addition of two numbers. So which are the data elements for the addition of two numbers? We require the two inputs, and third one is the output. Second is the the operations that will be performed on these data elements. So which operation we are performing on the addition of those two numbers? Again, plus operation we are using. Third need of data structure, methods of storing the data elements in the memory. So whenever you are adding the two numbers, it means what? Those two numbers, how you are storing in the memory. Whether you are using the integer data type, float data type, that is nothing but what? Methods, how you are storing the data elements in the computer's memory. And the last one is which programming language you are using to solve the problem statement. Suppose again another example we are considering, calculate area of a circle. So to calculate the area of circle, which are the data elements? Radius, pi and the area. Radius and pi, these are the two inputs and area is the output. Then the operations performed, second point, the operations performed on the above data elements are what? Multiplication and the assignment. Means we are writing the formula to calculate the area of a circle. Which formula we are using? Area equals to pi r square. So we are writing as what? Area equals to. So assignment represents what? Equal to operator. And pi r square means what? Pi multiplied by radius multiplied by radius. So multiplication operator again is used here. Third one, they can be stored in memory as a bits or bytes and the user can access them in a different forms. It means what? For the integer data type 2 bytes are used, for the float data type 4 bytes are used, and the last one, languages which we are using to solve that particular problem. This program we can write with the help of a C programming also, C++ also, in the VB script also. Now next is a data types in a C. Which are the data types in a C? All of you already know there are the two data types in a C programming, built-in data type and the derived data type. Which are your built-in data types? Integer, character and the float. Integer means what? One complete number. Float means what? A number with a decimal point. And character indicates collection of alphabets. Second type is our derived data type. Derived data type consists of what? Array, structure, union, pointer. Now you already know again array. Array is a collection of same data type. How we declare the array? Data type, array name, square bracket, we are writing the array size. Suppose example, integer, number, square bracket, 5. Second type again, structure. What is the structure definition? Structure, it is a collection of different data types. Suppose example, there is a student. Student have a different data. Which are those different data? Student have a name, roll number. So for the roll number, we are using the integer data type. For the name, we are using the character data type. So that's why structure, it is a collection of different data type. So that which are also array and the structure, these are the derived data types. Now we can say as a data structure, it is an abstract data type. Now what is the meaning of abstract data type? Abstract data type, it combines the description of a data and its associated operations on these values. It means what? The description of data indicates the data elements and what operation we are going to be performed on those data elements. Same example we are considering, addition of two numbers. So which are the data for the addition of two numbers? Number 1, number 2 and the result. And the associated operation is what? Plus operator. Plus. So according to this, the abstract data type, it provides the two characteristics. Which are those two characteristics? The first one, description of elements in terms of data types. It means which are the data elements and for those data elements which data type we are using. And the second characteristic, it defines the relationship among individual elements. So again same example, number 1 and the number 2. And which is the relationship for those two numbers? Plus. So plus operator, it defines the relationship for the number 1 plus number 2. So in this way there are the two characteristics of the abstract data type, and that's why the data structure, it is also called as a abstract data type. Now which are the types of a data structure? There are the two types of a data structures. Primitive data structure. Now you already know integer, character and the float, which are again the built-in data types which we already used in a C programming. So those same integer, character and the float, those data types, it can be considered as a primitive data structure types. And the second one is a non-primitive data structure. It means derived data structure. So which are the non-primitive data structure types? Again, linear data structure and the non-linear data structure. So for the linear data structure, it can be consist of arrays, stack, queue, linked list. Now we have to write some programs for the array, stack, queue and the linked list. And there are the separate programs we have to learn for the stack, queue and the linked list, which will be covered in the next lectures. For the non-linear data structure, again there are the two types, trees and the graph. Again there are the two separate chapters for the trees and the graphs. Now what is a linear data structure? Now the linear represents what? In a line. So in short, linear means in a line. So the elements of a linear data structure are arranged in a line. It means what? A data structure in which the elements are arranged in a sequential manner, that is called as a linear data structure. And the linear data structure, it is always represented by the one-dimensional array. All of you already know what is an array. Array is a collection of a same data type. So for example, there are the suppose 5 numbers 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So I can write down these numbers in a sequential manner also. So that's why we can declare these numbers in a one-dimensional array. How I can write the linear data structure for the array? Integer no of 5 square bracket 5 equals to 10 equals 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50. So this array, it is the best example for the linear data structure. So for the linear data structure, the data element has a unique successor and a unique predecessor. So the best examples for the linear data structures are what? Array, linked list, stack and the queue. Afterwards we have to learn the linked list, stack and the queue in the next lectures. Now in short, just I am explaining here again what is an array, what is a linked list. So array is what? Array is a collection of data of a same data type. Example again, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can consider as a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So it is a collection of elements 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. These are the, which is the data type for this? Integer data type. So that's why we can declare as a what again? Integer no represents what? Array name, square bracket 5 indicates array size equals to opening curly braces 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50 closing curly braces. So this represents what? Array, and array is a collection of same data type. Second type is what? Linked list. Linked list, it is again a collection of data of same data type, but for the linked list we have to use the concept of pointers. Again we have to learn the separate chapter for this linked list. Just now only remember, linked list, it is a collection of data of a same data type, and the linked list, it is an example of a linear data structure. And what is a linear data structure? All the elements are arranged in a sequential manner. Then we have to learn some operations on the arrays also. We have to perform some operations on the linked list. Also we have to write down the programs for all these concepts. Then next even is the stack. What is the stack? Again stack, it is a data structure. It is like a container where we are storing the list of elements, in which the elements can be inserted or deleted at one end, which is called as a top of the stack. Means from only one end we can insert the element, and from that same end we can delete the element, that is called as a top of the stack. So in a stack, every time an element is added, it goes on from the top of the stack, and the only element that can be removed is the element that is at the top of the stack. Again, it is just like a piles of objects. So stack, it is a LIFO structure. LIFO means what? Last in, first out. It may last in, first out. It means what? The element which is inserted lastly, it is deleted first time. So there are the two operations we have to perform on the stack. push. Type push means what? This function it is used to insert the new elements into the stack, and pop means this function it is used to remove an element from the stack. And both insertion and the deletion operation, or the push and the pop operation, it is allowed only from one end, and that one end name is called as a stack, or you can call stack. It means top of the stack. Here you can see in this figure I am inserting one number into the empty stack. So firstly I am entering the one number, again I am going to enter the third number from the top of the stack only. Now so push operation I am going to be performed. Suppose you want to delete the third number, 3 number, it means what? I have to perform the pop operation. So again 3 number it is deleted from the top of the stack. So that's why a stack have only one end, that one end it is called as a top of the stack, and we have to perform the two operations: push operation which is used to add an atom to the top of the stack, and the pop operation which removes the atom on the top of the stack. Now for the stack we have to check the two conditions: overflow stack and the underflow stack. Now the name itself tells you overflow. Overflow means what? The stack is a completely full, there is no any space available to insert the new number into the stack. That is called as a overflow stack. Second one is the underflow stack. Underflow stack means what? Your stack is a completely empty, that is called as a underflow stack. The simplest application of a stack is to reverse a word. Suppose you push a given word into the stack letter by letter, and then pop the letters from the stack. Suppose you are inserting your name into the stack. Firstly you are inserting as a, then S, H, O and K. So who is at the top of the stack? K. Now firstly who is going to be removed? K is removed. So in this way, one by one from the top of the stack you are removing the alphabets. Then you will get the reverse word. Next one is a queue. Now what is a queue? Queue indicates line. The real life example, queue means what? A live line. A queue it is open from both the ends. And which are those two ends? Rear end and the front end. Now here rear end indicates the in-queue operation, and the front end indicates the dequeue operation. In-queue it is the operation for adding an element into the queue, and dequeue it is the operation for removing an element from the queue. So same stack works on which principle? LIFO, last in first out. Here queue works on the which methodology? First in first out. Matlab first element which is inserted it will be moved firstly. So that's why queue works on the first in first out methodology. Again we have to perform some operations on the queue: insertion operation and the deletion operation. Insertion means what? We have to insert the element from the rear end, or it inserts or add an element to the queue from the rear end. And the second one is a deletion operation. So deleting the element from the queue, it means we are deleting the elements from the front end. Now the second type of our data structure is what? Non-linear data structure. Non-linear data structure, these are used to represent the data containing the hierarchical or the network relationship between the element. Suppose for example you can consider as a tree. Tree have a number of leaves or branches. So tree it is the best example of a non-linear data structure. In a tree the elements are arranged in a hierarchical or the network relationship. There is a relationship between the elements. So there are again two types of a non-linear data structure: tree and the graph. So what is a tree? You can see in this figure. A tree it is a widely used data structure which represents a hierarchical relationship among the elements. A tree have a roots and leaves. So tree it is a collection of nodes in a recursive manner. This is the figure for representation of a tree. Now graph. What is a graph? Graph are a set of interconnected nodes having a specific value. So you can see in this figure the nodes are represented by a circle. these nodes may have any specific values, and all these nodes are interconnected with each other. So these nodes are interconnected with each other. It means what? There is a relationship between each and every node. So that's why graph, it is used to represent the data that has a relationship between the pair of elements, and it is not necessary it should be in a hierarchical nature. Now, which operations we can perform on the data structure? There are the traversing, searching, inserting, deleting, sorting, merging. All of these operations we can perform on the data structure. So traversing means what? Traversing, it is the process, or it involves processing of each element in the list exactly once. Means at least one time we have to process that element. For example, print the values of all the elements in the array. Suppose I have a array consisting of a numbers as a 5 elements. So 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Now I want to print all these values. So 10 is printed as only one time, 20 is printed as only one time. So this is nothing but what? I am visiting each and every number as only one time, or I am processing each and every element in the list exactly once. That is nothing but the traversing. And the best example is what? Print the values of all the elements in the array. Now, in the last semester we already execute the program declaration of array, accept the array elements and print the values of all the elements in the array. Second operation is what? Searching. Searching means what? The name itself tells you want to find out any particular element, or you want to search a particular record using a particular key. That is called as a searching. Again, suppose for example, find out the names of all the students who secured 90 marks in the maths. It means what? I want to find out only those students who got or who secured 90 marks in the maths subject. So we are performing which operation? Searching. So you are using a one particular key to find out the students who secured the 90 marks in the subject maths. That is called as a searching operation. Third operation is the inserting operation. Inserting operation, the name again itself tells you want to add a new data item into the given list. Again example, add the details of a new student who has recently joined the course. It means what? Suppose there are only 60 students in a first year class. There is one more new admission that is becomes as a 61. Now that 61 number I want to add into my previous 60 students records. So it means what? I am inserting a new data into my previous list. That is called as a inserting operation. Fourth one is the deleting operation. Deleting means what? You want to remove a particular data from the given list. Fifth one is the sorting. Sorting means what? The data items, it can be arranged in some order. Which are those orders? Ascending order and the descending order. So you can arrange your numbers in the ascending manner also, or in a descending order also. You can arrange your data in ascending fashion also and in a descending fashion also. Last one is the merging. Merging means what? You are combining the two lists. That is called as a merging. So it means list of two sorting data items, it can be combined to form a single list of sorted data items.